Hey everyone, what's up? It's Rachel here. Thanks again for joining us for another AMA. Today I'm joined by Max Krepyshev. He is the co-founder and CEO of CoinsPaid. Hey Max, how's it going?
Hi, Rachel. Going great. Glad you have me here. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, well, thanks again for joining us. And I want to remind the audience before we get started with this AMA to send your questions in the chat. We're here to answer those for you. Great. So, Max, let's just jump into our first question. Let's start off by talking about the biggest challenges associated with mass adoption in crypto today. What do you think those are?
Um, yeah, this is a good question. Basically, this depends on few things, right? So the first one is education, as I like to say, right? For people to understand what is blockchain, what is cryptocurrency. The second one is to understand why they need it, right? So this adoption, of course, we see that crypto adoption is going sort of through waves, right? When crypto price is growing, we see the wave of adoption. But the sustainable way for crypto adoption is, of course, the ability to utilize crypto, right, as a payment method, as an investment instrument, as a payment vehicle. So, as we are mostly on the merchant side, right, so we work with businesses who want to accept crypto. Um, for them, we see the major sort of challenge is right now understanding what is crypto, why they need to accept it. With this helps a lot the general adoption of crypto, right? They just see that the percentage of people using crypto is growing, so it becomes interesting for them. For those who experience less problems with the payments, for them still a big challenge to understand why. And for very big companies, of course, another challenge is their legal teams, financial teams, and they want to pack crypto in sort of a usual way of how they work with the PayPal, with Visa, and Mastercard. So there are still a lot of the things to go. But anyways, I would split it into the customer adoption and business adoption, and both of these things dependent on different reasoning, but they have to go together, right? So there is no sort of question of chicken and egg. The customers will use crypto more if more businesses happy to accept crypto, so people can spend it on their everyday things.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Now let's also kind of talk a little bit about the need for crypto payment platforms because that's what CoinsPaid is doing. So, how large is that need, Max?
I would say we started to see this movement sort of in 2012, 2013, right? When it was mostly obvious for the average Joe who heard about crypto that this thing is gonna survive, right? We saw this with the BitPay, who is the the first mover, right? Who started sort of speaking about this business model at all, raised a lot of money and so on. And over the years, we saw the adoption starting from more like high risk businesses, right? Of course, the history, as we know, started with very dark businesses, right? We saw a lot of arrests in US for the people who try to sell drugs online with Bitcoin and so on. Then, of course, with the development of chain analysis instruments, of course, this became extremely obvious, right, that you cannot use crypto just to hide your money and so on. But the adoption, as we saw, was happening through more high-risk businesses, right? I'm speaking about like sports betting websites, right, esports trading websites, and so on. Right now, we see the penetration into the e-commerce, and right now we sort of already can smell the adoption of crypto and sort of the need and urge for crypto payment solutions in the developing world, especially in the countries where the currency is unstable, right? So merchants trying to accept something which is not the local currency, especially businesses who has suppliers from abroad, right? Whom they need to pay with something more stable like USDT, like Euro, and so on. And right now, with the regulators more and more speaking about crypto and more saying that that crypto assets are really a member of the global economic and the financial world, we see that financial institutions and banks, we can see it in the news, right? A lot of announcements from different CEOs of the banks, right, or the business development managers of different financial institutions are speaking that they are trying crypto, they're experimenting with crypto. Some of them, like a PayPal, are buying some crypto solutions. So I think it's fair to say that the demand is growing. For some of them, the demand is just growing for operational supplier of the services, but bigger providers are also looking to buy someone completely, or at least to sort of rent the software in the way of getting a software as a service solution, right, or something which they can host on premise. When we speak about bigger banks, I mean, who have their own security rules and policies on the very high level.
Right. Yeah. No, great answer, Max. Let's talk a little bit about CoinsPad now. So, what problems does the platform solve? What are the goals behind the platform?
From platform, I guess it's the correct to say at the moment, right? It's all started sort of with the group of people who were experimenting, of course, how we can solve business needs. Right now, our main business need that we are solving, right, and basically our main product and sort of the flagship, right, of all the products is cryptoprocessing.com, which is exactly the name sort of explains itself, right? This is the processing solution for merchants and for other businesses to accept crypto or to pay to their customers in crypto, right? So it works in both ways. But our mission, right, is to satisfy the world's everyday needs using cryptocurrency. Means that it's not only about businesses, right? It's also about retail clients. So we have other products as well. So for the B2C product, we have a wallet, right, which is still in the beta, but we are working hard to make it better and finally launch it live. We have an OTC desk for sort of bigger clients who need to trade, let's say, millions in one go. We have the educational platform and the news website under the CoinsPaid media website. And also, as mentioned before, we are also aiming to satisfy needs of the platforms who want to have their own solution. So we have the SaaS product as well, and the token that we launched as an asset to sort of combine all the products together and create the transfer of value and incentives across all the products.
Got it. I want to remind the audience, please questions. This is a really interesting platform that Max has developed, or that his team has developed. So send us your questions so Max can answer them. Max, let's talk a little bit about the best use cases for CoinsPay. Can you go into some specific use cases for us?
Yeah, the main one, and probably this is the most obvious one, is the online business who needs to collect payments from all over the world, right? Who don't want to bother to collect payments from separately from Brazil, separately from Argentina, I know, separately from China. They can basically use us to collect the payments from all over the world in the way of collecting sort of the money of the internet, right, which is the cryptocurrency. This business, it doesn't matter where business operates, right? Let's say it's somewhere in Europe, right? So the base currency that business needs to receive, right, to pay their salaries, to pay their suppliers and so on, is euro. And of course, when you start an international business, while your base currency is euro, you spend a lot of money on collecting all different providers for all different markets. You spend money on the conversions from all other currencies into euro, right? And it sort of creates a bit of an operational headache. With us, we give the option to the client to collect different sorts of cryptocurrencies on different blockchains and convert it on the fly into the currency that the customer needs, right? So in euro. So for the customers, just the usual deposit method to collect money from their customers. And it doesn't have the risk of delayed payments. It doesn't have the risk of the volatility of cryptocurrency, right? And it's truly, truly global. There is also one advantage which I see as an advantage. Some would say it's probably not that much of advantage. Crypto is irreversible, right? So for the merchant is also a very secure way that they understand that when they provide the service for the payment cannot be charged back in the one-way scenario. right? So this is the main use case. I mean, the same use case for the payouts, right? Let's say you are the marketplace for freelancers or whatever. You can collect money from all over the world from people who order something from these freelancers. But you can also use us to pay money all over the globe in cryptocurrencies to all the freelancers in USDC, in Bitcoin, in USDT, in whatever.
Got it. Okay. Let's take a question from the audience. Natalia is asking, Max, what should you and other projects/companies do to promote crypto adoption? How can you educate current users and newcomers?
Basically, crypto education should be a program in every crypto business, right? It should start definitely from employees, right? So the best way is to start from your own people. Of course, anyone who runs any crypto business, any crypto company, you understand that hiring people who know everything about crypto or on the level that you need is not really a reality. So educating your own employees, your own teams, making them sort of ambassadors not only of your brand but also of the technology. I would say it's the most obvious step one. Then educating your clients and educating your potential clients, right? You all do a lot of activities in the social networks. You all have websites, blogs, and so on. It makes sense to place some educational materials. What is Bitcoin? What is blockchain? What are the use cases? So educating people is the main sort of thing that will drive adoption. And with businesses, right? Yes, right.
Oh, I was just going to say, I agree with you. Education is really important, but go ahead, Max.
Yeah, and for the businesses, right, which operate in the space, of course, all of us understand that business has to make revenue, right? And in order to make revenue, you need to solve problems or challenges, right? And the more challenges we all together with all the businesses, everyone who is in the ecosystem, the more challenges we solve, the more useful cryptocurrency becomes, and the more adoption will come automatically. So there is no magic in this, I think.
Right. Let me take another question from the audience. Ernesto Perex is asking, can you talk about the foundation? When is the launch?
The foundation. I think the Ernesto might be speaking about the CPD Foundation because this is the only foundation that we were launching. We registered it in Switzerland in Zug over the summer, right? So I think it's pretty much set up already.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to take one more question from all of a sudden. We've got a lot of questions coming in. Serhat is asking, what plans do you have for further community development?
Basically creating our wallet, right? So our idea to build the community is, of course, with the B2C wallet. So the wallet is there. It's still missing few key features that I wanted to have. So the main driver of the community would be the product for the B2C, basically with the token which gives discounts to the customers in the wallet. And the other very important but might be a tricky to understand thing that we are very strong in B2B, right? So we have hundreds of clients with millions of end customers. So the idea of the community is to port a fair amount of the customers of our clients into our wallet, right? So the people who already use our software on the merchant side will be able to use our software as in the wallet and basically have a closer connection to us as the customer and provider, and also enjoy all the educational materials and all of the incentives and referral programs that we order in between our B2C and B2B and the token businesses.
Okay, I think you might have cut out there, Max, but I think you definitely made your point with that question. Let's talk a little bit about, I know that you guys have a pretty strong HR strategy. Can you talk a little bit about that and what benefits the employees receive?
Yeah, so HR strategy is basically to make sure that we develop each other, right, and that we grow together, right. I can speak about this more in details, like with the cases that we really see working or not working, but the general idea is the common growth, right. So we grow as professionals while we are growing the business, right, and we grow in our teams as we grow professionally and as we grow the business. This is all sort of created around the common goals, right? And the main value, I would say, is the product, seeking innovative product and excellent service around this product, right? We are mostly B2B company, so of course, only product is not usually enough for the business clients, right? We need more individual approach. So the service, of course, is extremely important. Speaking about people in IT business and product business, especially, people are the main value of the company, right? This is a hugely intelligent sort of job, right? You have to analyze many things and understanding the market very well. So while we are expanding the geography of our business, right, we have to face that we are creating right now the multicultural in 200 people from 15 different countries. And of course, you can understand the mentality, the languages are different, right? So we have to be very transparent about the values and about the strategy of the business to sort of align everything together. And of course, the HR team with many activities, incentives are working hard to make sure that everyone are really welcomed in the team and get through adoption and onboarding as smoothly as they can.
Got it. Now, obviously, we are seeing a downturn in the crypto market right now. Has that impacted CoinsPaid at all in terms of hiring?
This is something I'm basically extremely proud of, right? So speaking about the crypto winter, you might be surprised, but we see that the volumes and basically traction of crypto payments during crypto winter doesn't really influence that much the payment space, right? So here, just I will allow myself to educate our listeners a bit about the misconception, right, that I see happening. So merchants, the influx of new businesses who want to accept crypto, we see that the most of the interest that we see from them is when crypto is on the hype, right? When we see all-time highs, when the valuation of the market is booming. But in the reality, if you think about when people really want to spend their crypto, they don't want to spend crypto when it is on the top, right? They understand that they will be able to spend it tomorrow and they will have to pay less Bitcoins for the iPhone, right? For example. So from what we see, that the main traction businesses accepting crypto really have either during the bear market or just the sideways market, right? As we have already for a few months, probably. So I must say the interest from businesses on the bear market decreased slightly. We are growing this year only double, right? So we are doubling our volumes this year, which sounds like an amazing number, but our plan was slightly higher. We plan to grow at least 3 times, right? So you see that the bear market is influencing our growth ambitions. But if you compare us to crypto exchanges, right, or like for more usual businesses for the retail market, who have to fire a lot of people, right? Some of them are shutting their doors completely, right? So closing, filing for insolvency, and so on. I'm informing you that we growed X2, but we didn't fall, right? Even in May, June, right, when we saw that the market was sort of in blood, we saw news everywhere that the companies are closing, insolvency, have to cut the costs on the personnel, has to lay off 20% of the staff and so on, we were growing, right, in the numbers. And I'm not even speaking about hiring, right? I think 1 year ago we were 120 people. Right now we are 200 people, right? So we are hiring also extremely actively. If you go on the CoinsPaid website in the careers, I think we have around 50 open positions, right? I think we will end up hiring around 30, 50 people until the end of the year, right? So I would say crypto winter, so-called, helps us a bit because the amount of talent on the market increases.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting, Max, because I just read an article on a mainstream news outlet about just all of the hiring freezes and layoffs with big tech companies, and some crypto companies were mentioned there as well. So it's really interesting that CoinsPaid and some other crypto companies that I know of are continuing to hire at a high demand without having to go through any freezes or layoffs. It's really encouraging to hear that. Also, just wondering, with the positions that CoinsPaid offers, are those remote positions or are they actually in person?
Yeah, so we switched with the beginning of the COVID, right? So in Q1 2020, we moved to remote first, right? So we have few offices around the globe where people can go to, right? If they don't want to work from home, either the dog or the kids are distracting them from concentration. But in general, we don't have the requirement to work from the office. And we also allow our people to move across the world as freely as they like, right? We have some locations which we do not recommend to be at, right? Right now, this obviously would be Russia and Ukraine. But we allow our people to work where they want, as soon as the location we treat to be as relatively secure.
Right. I'll take a question from the audience. Silvio is asking, well, they're saying hi from Argentina. Then they're asking, will CoinsPay be present in Lobit conference 2022 in Buenos Aires?
I think we might be, right? Honestly, we visit over 100 events during the year, right? And I'm unfortunately not familiar with all of them, right, that we visit. I mostly fly to events across Europe, but a bit sounds interesting, right? If you, Silvio, if you have any contacts of myself or of my team, just please share some info about this event so I can check if we are coming. We are building a presence in Latin America, right? So South America is a to-go market. Basically in the second half of this year, and definitely a focus for the next year. We are growing our local team in Argentina and Brazil and Peru. So I hope we will be going to the events more and more often.
Yeah, Max, you make a really interesting point that there is this demand for payment platforms in places like Latin America. And I think that kind of leads into my next question, which is how is CoinsPaid aiming to speed up crypto mass adoption in the process there? So aside from just having a presence in regions that need crypto payment providers, are there any other ways that you guys are speeding up mass adoption?
Yeah, as I said, right, I think here we are probably the chicken, right? We are the chicken which should create some eggs, right? So we are getting there, of course, to help businesses to adopt crypto. Um, Speaking about the retail adoption, I know that Latin America has been on the good traction for adopting cryptocurrencies, and I mean not only Bitcoin, right, or USDT, but in general, crypto adoption is growing with new crypto platforms appearing, right? I see this movement in South America, let's say from 2015, right? New exchanges appearing, we see new projects appearing, we see more and more about the South America in the news, right? For example, with the El Salvador, right, who suddenly said that right now Bitcoin is the official mean of the payments there. So I think with this efforts together with the retail platforms, we have all the chances to sort of increase the adoption in the region. So it's education. Our CoinsPaid media is translated in Spanish as well. Not in the Portuguese though. I think this is probably a good way to go. But our news website is translated in Spanish. With the B2B, we are getting to Latin American region, helping merchants to accept crypto. With the wallet, we will go as the stage 2, of course, going as the additional product for Latin America and basically South America as well.
Yeah. Max, another good point that you make is translating information into different languages for people to understand it in their native language. I think we're seeing a lot of that now, and that's super important to just drive mass adoption and help even build out Web3 just to get more people interested in that space by allowing them to actually read content in their language. So that's a really good point that you make. I'll take another question from the audience, and just a reminder, audience, keep the questions coming. We still have about 5 minutes with Max. Burke is asking, do you consider it possible for world-renowned companies to use crypto payment gateways?
World-renowned. Rachel, how would you rephrase this question? Because I'm not sure I understand which companies exactly.
Yeah, I would say maybe they're talking about enterprises, like large enterprises that we're seeing versus small retailers. So maybe like Macy's, for instance, that's a huge retailer.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I see this. I mean, if you read news, this is already happening, right? Just recently, there was the announcement from between the Coinbase and Google Cloud, right? That you see a big company starts to accept crypto for the services, right? We see that the PayPal acquired Curve, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years ago or something, right? So they definitely also cooking the enterprise solution, right, for bigger brands. You see that Visa is sort of dancing around crypto already for years, right, launching different solutions and so on. So we see that enterprises from the payment space definitely interested in crypto. We see some fashion brands are also doing some funny things with NFTs, with crypto, right? So we see these announcements in the Twitter, basically on the accounts with millions of subscribers of celebrities. So this is sort of happening, right? Big brands, well-known brands, they like the hype around crypto, around NFTs. I mean, NFTs right now is probably on the decline slightly, but people who sort of start digging into NFTs, they are also very much around blockchain and around crypto. So I bet this trend to continue, and we will see Amazon's, eBay's, Netflix's accepting crypto very, very soon.
Yeah, no, I agree. Max, just quick question on my end. Do you think that inflation is going to impact greater and faster adoption of crypto payments?
Crypto payments probably no, but I think it will influence how people store value, right? So here we don't see this happening, honestly, right? We can all agree that we don't see this happening, but I think the same way how gold and silver is sort of the real assets, which are not, which is the good hedge around against inflation. I think really decentralized cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin might become this hedge against inflation as well, together with the real estate and precious metals.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We have a few minutes left. So audience, if you guys have any other questions, send them our way. But in the meantime, Max, can you talk a little bit about what we can expect next from CoinsPaid?
Basically, we are improving the solution, right? So we are getting more enterprisey ourselves, right? We understand that the businesses, the more mature businesses, right, who have higher requirements from their providers, are getting into the game, right? Also, we see that regulators are sort of becoming more aware of what cryptocurrencies and enhancing their making the regulations stricter and the audits stricter, right? So right now we are in the middle of very important architectural changes in the system. to make it scale better. A lot of the improvements are happening in the back office to make more institutional clients happy with the solution. And in the meantime, the reporting for the regulators and financial audits, right? So these three things are, of course, sort of very logical. Together with that, which is more interesting probably to the listeners of this call, it's basically our B2C solution and media. We are creating new version of Academy, right? This will be a course of 7 lessons, right, which give the good understanding of what cryptocurrencies, what NFTs are, what are the blockchains, what are the types of tokens, and so on, which will again help the adoption and education. And probably the most interesting is the wallet, right? So wallet will have few things which I find might be slightly innovative to have in one place, right? So we are aiming to have a simple crypto wallet together with the bank account inside, right? But to be not bank with crypto, but to be crypto wallet with the bank, and having 2 types of the card, right? So one card is the usual crypto card, which is connected to your balance in Bitcoin, Ethereum, or USDT. But the second one is the usual debit card, which is connected to your bank account inside of the wallet. So opening the wallet, you also open yourself a bank account in Europe, and you can use it just as your usual bank account.
Yeah, great. I'm going to take one last question. I know we're basically out of time, but this is a pretty interesting question, actually. Amir is asking, which countries have the most applicants in terms of human resources in the field of blockchain and crypto news/marketing?
The most applicants, I would say, from India. This is probably quite because of the population, right, and the amount of the really skilled developers there. So I would say from there we see a big amount of very organic traffic, right? Also, we right now start to see a lot of the applicants from Russia, of course, because the people are fleeing the regime, right, and the war and the mobilization and so on. And because Russia has a lot of the fintech solutions, right, and really innovative banks. I don't know if you heard about them, but also we see a lot of applicants who are coming from Russia, who are looking to relocate in different spaces, in different places, and from Belarus as well, right? So we see a lot of the Russian speaker applicants, right? And to be honest, our development teams are mainly Russian speakers, right? So we see that the people sort of try to be together depending on the language which they use, but also from European countries. Let's say from the Baltics, we have some traction. From the Poland, from the West Europe, I would say not that much. And to be honest, right, we see that the specialists there are pretty much overpriced, right? When I'm speaking about the Netherlands, about Germany, about France, right, there the talent, I think, is a bit overpriced. The prices there for developers are pretty much compared with the US. And in the middle Europe and Eastern Europe are probably 30-40% cheaper.
Got it. Okay, well, we are actually out of time. So I just want to say thank you again to our audience. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the great questions. We got a lot of those today. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We do AMAs like these very often. So we would love to have all of you back. Max, I just wanted to say thank you again for joining us and for sharing your insights about CoinsPaid. Now, I know before we officially log off, there's a video from CoinsPaid. So I think we're going to roll that real quick. But Max, any final thoughts before we get to the video?
Good luck, everyone, with whatever you do. Spread the word about crypto and use crypto solutions when you see them on the merchant website. Thank you very much for having me, Rachel.
Thanks. Let's roll the video.